Are you learning American English and want to sound more natural when you speak? Do you want to use the same expressions that natives use and the same pronunciation? Do you want to understand natives the first time, even when they speak fast? Which is all the time. If you said yes, this lesson is for you. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. First, let's talk about greetings and small talk. You need to start using how's it going. This is the greeting in North America. How's it going?
How's it going?
How's it going?
But make sure you get that pronunciation. How's it? Zit. How's it? How's it going? Repeat after me. How's it going? You can also say long time no see. Long time no see. For example, Jennifer, long time no see. I was on vacation, so I couldn't watch your lessons. So you can provide the reason why it's been long time no see.
Long time no see.
So I hope you're not saying that, because I hope you're watching my lessons every week. If you are, put that's right, put that's right in the comments. How about this one? What have you been up to? Now you can also say lately or recently, but they're optional.
What have you been up to?
Now up to means doing. What have you been doing? So this is in the present perfect continuous. This is how you greet someone. How's it going? Long time no see. What have you been up to? You can use all three at the same time. Don't worry about taking notes, because I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description. Now you can also say nice to see you again. Instead of nice, you can say great, lovely, wonderful, or simply good. Good to see you again. Now notice I didn't use the subject or verb. It is. In spoken English, it's. It's nice to see you again. You can just drop that in casual spoken English.
Nice to see you again.
Or you can ask someone, how's your day been so far?
How's your day been so far?
Now, this is the same as how's your day been going so far. We just don't include the verb because it's obvious. Now let's talk about asking about preferences and opinions. Number 6, how does that sound to you? You need to know this one. So for example, how does going on vacation sound to you? So instead of that, you can specify the something and it's a gerund. Or you can use a noun. How does a vacation sound to you?
How does that sound?
You can ask someone, are you more of a coffee person or a tea person? Now here the structure is, are you more of a noun or noun? Morning person or night person? Stay in person or go out person? Now you don't have to use the word person. A noun could be, are you more of a spender, someone who spends money, or a saver, someone who saves money? How about this? Would you rather? Would you rather? And then you need a base verb. Would you rather stay in or go out? So would you rather base verb or base verb?
Would you rather fly or would you rather drive?
You can say, would you rather have sushi or pizza? Watch a movie or go dancing? Number 9, how do you feel about that? This is a great one to have. How do you feel about that?
How do you feel about that?
How do you feel about that?
Or number 10, what do you think about that? Now for both 9 and 10, you would use a gerund or a noun. For example, how do you feel about going dancing tonight? Or what do you think about a walk? So a walk is the noun. What do you think about a walk tonight?
What do you think about that?
Are you enjoying this lesson? If you are, then I want to tell you about the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my premium training program where we study native English speakers from TV, movies, YouTube, and the news so you can improve your listening skills of fast English, expand your vocabulary with natural expressions, and learn advanced grammar easily. Plus, you'll have me as your personal coach. You can look in the description for the link to learn more, or you can go to my website and click on Finally Fluent Academy. Now let's continue with our lesson. Now let's talk about expressing preferences and opinions. Number 11, honestly, I think it's great.
Honestly, I think you look great.
So you could say, I think going, the gerund verb, going on vacation is a great idea. But you can just use great to represent a great idea. Or number 12, to be honest. To be honest. I'm not a big fan of it. So you can use honestly or to be honest interchangeably. And notice to be a fan of after you would use a noun or gerund.
To be honest, I'm not a big fan.
Number 13, I use this one every day, is totally your call. If something is your call, it's your decision, so you decide.
Totally your call.
Or number 14, I'd go with this one. So I would go with, and then in spoken English, I'd go with. This means I would support or I would choose, and then you can specify the noun.
Let's go with this one.
Number 15, I get where you're coming from. Or I totally get where you're coming from if you want to make it stronger. And this means I understand your opinion or perspective.
I get where you're coming from.
Now let's talk about apologizing. Number 16, sorry about that. Sorry about that. So notice I dropped the I am and simply said sorry about. And then if you use a verb, you would use the gerund verb. Sorry about spilling coffee on your white rug.
Sorry about that.
You can simply say, my bad, my bad. This is a more informal way.
My bad, my bad.
You can say, I didn't mean to. And then if you want, you can continue, I didn't mean to spill coffee.
I didn't mean to.
Or number 19, simply a sound, whoops, whoops. That's the sound we make when we do something like spill. Whoops, sorry.
Oops, sorry.
Or number 20, I love this one, I'll make it up to you. Do you know what this means? I'll make it up to you. This means I'll rectify, so correct, or I'll compensate for this mistake. For example, sorry about spilling coffee on your white rug. I'll make it up to you. So how could I do that? Well, I'll clean it myself, I'll clean your rug, or I'll pay for it to be cleaned. I'll compensate you. I'll make it up to you.
I'll make it up to you.
I'll make it up to you.
I'll make it up to you.
Now let's talk about saying thank you. Number 21, thanks a bunch. A bunch. This is a casual and friendly way to say thank you or thank you so much.
Thanks a bunch.
Number 22, I really appreciate it. So notice here, you don't use the words thank you, it's implied.
I really appreciate it.
I really appreciate it.
Number 23, you're the best, thanks. Or you can just say, you're the best. This is one of my personal favorites.
Thank you. You're the best best.
Number 24, I can't thank you enough. This sounds like a strong thank you.
I can't thank you enough.
It's like saying thank you very much. And my absolute personal favorite is number 25, you rock. You rock. Just do not say you are rock because the sentence structure is to rock. You rock. You rock. Put that in the comments. You rock.
You rock!
Let's move on and talk about reacting to news and surprises. Number 26, are you serious? Are you serious? You can also simply say seriously or really.
It's seriously? Are you serious?
Number 27, no way, no way. Remember, this is news or surprise, so you need to add some enthusiasm. No way.
No way, no way, no way.
28, that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. This is an alternative to saying, I can't believe it. That's unbelievable.
That's unbelievable.
Number 29, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me.
You've got to be kidding me.
Or number 13, wow, I didn't see that coming. I love this one. Wow, I didn't see that coming. You could also say, no way, I didn't see that coming. Or seriously, I didn't see that coming. And to not see something coming means you were not expecting it. Just know that all of these expressions can be used for positive or negative surprises. It depends on the context. For example, you bought me a new car. That's very positive, right? I just got a new car for free. You bought me a new car. Wow, I didn't see that coming. I didn't expect it. Or how about this? You're breaking up with me? Seriously? You've got to be kidding me. So if you're breaking up with me, it means you're ending our romantic relationship. You've got to be kidding me. So that's a negative. Or how about this? You got fired. I can't believe it. That's terrible. I'm so sorry. Or you got promoted. I can't believe it. That's incredible. Congratulations. So again, it depends on context how you use these.
Wow, I didn't see that coming.
Now let's talk about making social plans. 31, are you free tonight?
So are you free tonight?
Do you want to hang out this weekend?
Do you want to hang out this weekend?
So to hang out, this means to spend time together socially. 33, let's get together this weekend. So the phrasal verb to get together means to come together as a group. Or how about this? How about we grab coffee after work? So here, grab is an informal way of saying get or have, but it is extremely common. Now, you grab a meal, a food item, or a drink item. For example, let's grab lunch today, a meal. Or are you free to grab a bite? A bite represents food. Are you free to grab a bite tonight?
How about we go grab some coffee?
Number 35, we need to catch up.
Wow, we need to catch up.
To catch up, this means to spend time sharing news and information. So I could say, we need to catch up. Are you free tonight? Now let's talk about asking for help. Could you give me a hand with this?
Give me a hand with this, Dallas.
Or you can say, can you lend me a hand? Now, after with, you would use a noun or a gerund. So you can say could or can. Could is slightly more formal. Could or can you lend or give me a hand with something, dinner, or with doing something, with making dinner? Number 38, do you mind? Notice we need the gerund. Do you mind driving me to the airport? You can also say, would you mind doing, gerund, doing me a favor? Notice that collocation, you do someone a favor. Number 40, I could really use your help. This sounds like a serious request.
Hey, would you do me a favor?
Would you do me a favor?
Now let's talk about offering help. 41, let me know if you need a hand. A hand means help or any help.
Just let me know if you need a hand.
42, I'd be happy. I'd be happy to help. I'd be happy to lend you a hand. So notice I would means I'd be happy to lend. So the infinitive, to lend you a hand.
I'd be happy to help you.
Or you can say, if you need anything, just ask.
If you need anything, just ask.
I'm here if you need anything. This sounds very inviting. I'm here. I'm here if you need anything, or I'm here if you need me.
If you need anything, I'm here, okay?
Number 45, don't worry, I've got your back.
Don't worry, I got your back.
This sounds the most supportive. Don't worry, I've got your back. This means I'm here to support you, I'm here to help you, and it sounds very strong. I've got your back. Let's talk about saying goodbye. You can say bye and then add on take care, or you can just say take care.
Take care.
You can, of course, say, see you later. And again, you can say, bye, see you later, take care. You can combine those together. And instead of later, you can be specific. see you soon, see you tomorrow, or even at a specific event or place. See you at the movies. Take care.
See you later. See you later.
Number 48, have a good one. This is a very casual expression. I hear it a lot with service providers when you're at the grocery store and you leave, they say, have a good one. Have a good one. Now, instead of one, you can say day, night, evening, or afternoon. One is generic. It represents all time references.
Have a good one.
Or 49, talk to you soon, talk to you soon. And then again, instead of soon, you can say later, tomorrow, at the movies, whatever specific time or place.
Talk to you soon.
And number 50, drive safe. Drive safe. Now, this only works if the person is driving, if they are the one behind the steering wheel. If that isn't the case, you would change it to safe travels. So notice, drive safe, but if you change it, you say safe travels. And safe travels you can use if the person is driving as well.
Drive safe.
Amazing job! Now you're going to expand your vocabulary, learn natural pronunciation, and improve your listening skills of fast English. To understand fast English, you need to practice listening to fast English. So that's what we'll do right now. You're going to listen to a sentence I say 3 times, and you need to write down exactly what you hear in the comments. Don't worry, after I'll explain everything you need to know. Here's our first sentence. I'll say it 3 times. Keep your eyes peeled for the street. Keep your eyes peeled for the street. Keep your eyes peeled for the street. So how'd you do? I said, keep your eyes peeled for the street. Now let's talk about those pronunciation changes. Keep your eyes peeled. Your can sound very unstressed. Your. Keep your eyes. Keep your eyes. And notice how your and eyes link together. You're going to hear that R sound on both sides of the word if we link them. Your eyes, your eyes. So the second word instead of eyes really sounds like rise because it has that R, but you have to say it together. Your eyes. Your eyes. And of course, peeled, that ED is a soft D. Keep your eyes peeled, peeled. And for also becomes very unstressed, fur. Keep your eyes peeled for the street. Now notice you hear that R the most in the word street. Make sure you get that R sound, street. Now, do you understand what this means? To keep one's eyes peeled is an idiom. It means to stay alert and watch carefully. So carefully watch for the street so we don't miss it. Now you could say keep your eyes peeled for the client. Notice you use that preposition for and then something or someone. You can keep your eyes peeled, watch carefully for someone, the client. Now in this example, it's the imperative, which is used for an instruction or a direction. I could also say to you, keep your eyes peeled for any opportunities to practice your English. So remember, for and something, and in this case, the something is any opportunities to practice English. Watch carefully. So are you going to keep your eyes peeled for that? If you are, put that's right, put that's right in the comments. Now let's look at this sentence. She kept her eyes peeled for the trail markers during the hike. So remember, you need to conjugate your verb keep. In this case, it's the past simple, kept. She kept. And you have to make sure the possessive matches the subject. The subject is she, so it's her eyes peeled.
If you're ever in the neighborhood, keep your eyes peeled.
So keep your eyes peeled for the headlines that will bring it.
So while I don't have answers for you here, keep your eyes peeled.
Let's do this exercise again. I'll say it 3 times. Are we still on for tonight? Are we still on for tonight? Are we still on for tonight? Did you hear what I said? I said, are we still on for tonight? Notice how still and on link together, and you'll hear that L sound on on. So it will sound like still on, still on, still on. Again, for can become fur, still on fur tonight. Da da. So notice that syllable stress, the first syllable is unstressed, so to becomes that unstressed ta. And then night is your stressed syllable, tonight. Da da, tonight. Now, what does this mean? Well, this means that we made plans, and I'm confirming that our plans are still happening. So this expression is used socially shortly before plans, maybe the day before or the night before, to confirm the person isn't going to cancel that plan. They're still going to go, to show up. So you could say, are we still on for lunch? Now notice for something. In this case, lunch is the plan we have. Now, you can use any time reference. You can say for lunch today, this afternoon, or tomorrow. And this is an alternative to simply asking, are we still having lunch today? So that's the activity, and then I can say, are we still on for lunch? Now, if the activity is known, I can simply say, are we still on for tomorrow if it's known that we're having lunch? So you can just use the time reference. You could also say, are we still on for studying English tomorrow? So the activity is studying English. Now, if I send you a text message and say, are we still on for tonight? You could reply back and say, yup, which is a casual way of saying yes, yup, can't wait. So show some enthusiasm. Or you can say, absolutely, see you at 7 p.m.
You're questioning, are we still on? The confident woman assumes that you're still on.
I'm great, thanks. Are we still on for the kayak trip?
Oh, you bet. I have the kayaks and the equipment.
Let's try this exercise again. I'll say the sentence 3 times. Is the museum walkable? Is the museum walkable? Is the museum walkable? Ooh, did you get this one? Is the museum walkable? So let's talk about the pronunciation for museum. Z. So notice you have that voiced Z sound, museum. And there are 3 sounds, museum, museum, museum. And then the word that maybe you're not familiar with, walkable, walkable. So here there are 3 sounds, walkable. So notice that and then bull. It's not able, it's walkable, walkable. Now let's talk about a very useful word for you to know, to be walkable. So this means that something is close enough to be able to comfortably walk to the location. So is the museum close enough that we can walk there and not be exhausted or sweaty or feel really bad after we get there? Is the museum walkable? So if I send you a message and say, are we still on for lunch today? You could reply back and say, absolutely, but I only have 30 minutes. What's walkable? What's walkable? So what can we walk to quickly because we're short on time? Or I could say a new Thai restaurant opened last week, but I don't think it's walkable. So you can use I don't think, but to make walkable negative, remember it's the verb to be. So you would say, but it's not walkable, or it isn't walkable. There are 2 ways to form that contraction in the present simple. Walkable can be used in a different way, so listen to this sentence. One thing that makes New York City unique is how walkable it is. Most residents don't even own cars. So in this case, walkable is used to describe a geographical area. It can be a small area such as a neighborhood or a large area such as a city, and it means that it's easy to walk in that area.
It's walkable on top of our residential and commercial uses.
These are very different. These are in downtowns, walkable space, no drive-throughs.
They're banal, they're not sustainable, they're not walkable, they're certainly not beautiful.
Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. Let's head out early to beat the traffic. Let's head out early to beat the traffic. Let's head out early to beat the traffic. Did you get this one? I said, let's head out early to beat the traffic. Notice how head out combine together to sound like head out, doubt. So you hear that D sound on out, head out, head out. In the word early, you want that long R as well, early. You want to make sure you hear that R, early. Now, to beat, because to is a preposition, it becomes unstressed, to beat, to beat. And then traffic, you don't want to hear the R, you want to hear the vowel, traffic, traffic. And then beet is the same pronunciation as the vegetable beet. Now, do you know what the phrasal verb to head out means? Native speakers love using this phrasal verb. It means to leave a place or start a journey. So someone could ask you, what time are you heading out? What time are you leaving? But it's whatever place you're at. If you're at your home, it means your home. If you're at work or a restaurant, it means those locations. And then you can reply back and say, I'm heading out in the present continuous. I'm heading out around 6:30 a.m. so I can beat the traffic. Now notice here, I said, so I can beat, but in my example sentence originally, I said to beat the traffic. This is the short form of the purpose clause in order to beat the traffic, but native speakers generally drop in order and just say to beat the traffic. Now, native speakers also commonly start sentences with a purpose clause. To beat the traffic, let's head out at 6:30 a.m. Remember, this means in order to beat. This is a purpose clause, it's not the infinitive. Because in English grammar, we don't start sentences with the infinitive. To make a general statement, you would use the gerund verb. For example, beating the traffic in New York City is always a challenge. Of course, to beat the traffic, this means to avoid the traffic. And if you beat it, it means you get ahead of it. So you leave earlier or later to avoid it. You could also just take specific streets to beat the traffic, to avoid the traffic.
Everybody, let's head out to our areas.
Let's head out into the rainforest and see how she's doing.
Let's head out to the lake. I'll show you around.
Let's do this exercise again. I'll say it 3 times. I tried to get a little shut-eye on the break. I tried to get a little shut-eye on the break. I tried to get a little shut-eye on the break. Did you get this one? I said, I tried to get a little shut-eye on the break. Let's talk about to get a little, because those sounds really blended together. To get a little, to get a, to get a. So to becomes that unstressed ta, get a combines together, get a, to get a, to get a. Now little, native speakers, including me, generally pronounce the T's as soft D's. Little, little. Some native speakers really reduce this word and it just sounds like lil, lil, get a lil, get a lil. But you can pronounce those as soft D's. Get a little, little, get a little, to get a little. And then shut eye, we turn that T into a soft D because it's between vowels, and you'll hear it on both words. Shut eye, die, die, shut eye, shut eye. Now what is shut eye? It's a noun and it means sleep. So you can say, I tried to get some shut-eye, a little shut-eye, a few minutes of shut-eye. You could replace shut-eye with sleep in all those examples on the break. Now, shut-eye is commonly used for a short period of sleep, such as a nap. For example, he managed to get some shut-eye on the plane. Now notice the verb is get, so you could say he got in the past simple. He got some shut-eye on the plane. And notice that preposition I used with break, on a break. You could also say during a break. Native speakers commonly use on. And of course, a break in the context of work is a short period of time when you're not working. You can say, I called my friend on my break to see, in order to see, so the purpose clause, to see if we're still on for coffee after work. Now, you could also say, hopefully I can get a few minutes of shut-eye before we meet. I'm exhausted.
Let's get some shut-eye.
New studies show that those who are under stress and don't get enough shut-eye could age up to 6 times faster than they would otherwise, giving a whole new meaning to the term beauty rest.
For others, losing shut-eye can result in hormonal imbalance, illness, and in extreme cases, death.
Now let's do a shadowing exercise so you can repeat after me and practice all these pronunciation changes. I'll say each sentence and you need to repeat after me. And I'll say each sentence 3 times. Keep your eyes peeled for the street. Keep your eyes peeled for the street. Keep your eyes peeled for the street. Are we still on for tonight? Are we still on for tonight? Are we still on for tonight? Is the museum walkable? Is the museum walkable? Is the museum walkable? Let's head out early to beat the traffic. Let's head out early to beat the traffic. Let's head out early to beat the traffic. I tried to get a little shut-eye on the break. I tried to get a little shut-eye on the break. I tried to get a little shut-eye on the break. Think of everything you've learned so far. All the words, phrasal verbs, phrases, and idioms. Americans love idioms. Now you're going to learn 25 idioms to describe personality. Number 1, a people person. This is a must-know idiom. This is someone who enjoys interacting with others and is good at building relationships. For example, Jason is a real people person. So notice here, I'm using real to modify it, to intensify it. And don't forget that article, a people person. So he always makes everyone feel welcome.
I'm a people person.
Or you can say, we need a people person for this customer service position. Number 2, a go-getter. I love this one. It describes me, and I'm sure it describes you. A go-getter is someone who is ambitious and takes initiative to achieve their goals. For example, the team hired him because he's a go-getter. He is. So notice you need the verb to be conjugated with your subject and time reference. He is, he's a go-getter. Or you can say, I like working with go-getters. So notice here, I added that S to the noun to make it the whole category of people with go-getters because they push projects forward.
He's a go-getter.
Or maybe you're thinking, I'm a real go-getter when it comes to improving my English fluency. Does that describe you? If it does, put that's me, put that's me in the comments. Number 3, I'm sure this describes you as well, a smart cookie. So this is someone who is intelligent or clever, someone who is smart, but you can just add cookie to make it sound more casual and fun. Emma is a smart cookie. She solved that complex problem in no time.
Yeah, she was a smart cookie.
Or you're a smart cookie. If you can figure out how to make that deal work. So notice, this is conditional. Number 4, a social butterfly. This is someone who is very outgoing and enjoys socializing with others. I wouldn't say that describes me, to be honest. At the party, Noor was a social butterfly, talking to everyone in the room. Or you can say as a. This is a very powerful structure, so remember this, and I'll show you more examples as we go on. As a, and then any of these idioms. As a social butterfly. Pedro always knows what's happening around the office. Number 5, a couch potato. You may know this one. It doesn't describe me. Hopefully, it doesn't describe you. This is someone who spends a lot of time sitting and watching TV or being inactive. So generally, when we say someone is a couch potato, it's a negative. We're calling them lazy. So you might say, I used to be a couch potato. So that is in the past, but not the present. But now I enjoy going to the gym. Or you might use the imperative in the negative and say, don't be a couch potato. Let's go for a walk after lunch. So the opposite behavior of a couch potato. Number 6, a jack of all trades. Do you know this one? This is very common. This is a person who is skilled in many different areas, but not necessarily an expert in one of those areas. For example, my uncle is a jack of all trades. He can repair computers, fix plumbing issues, and cook gourmet dinners. Or remember that as a. Don't forget that article if it's a singular. So in this case, it is because it's a jack. As a jack of all trades. She's able to communicate to every department in the company. So notice you have Jack, which is a male's name in North America, but this idiom is gender neutral. You can use it with males and females. Number 7, a straight shooter. This is a positive idiom. It's someone who is honest and straightforward. So straightforward in the sense that they tell you information directly. I appreciate working with Peter. He's a straight shooter. Or the manager is a straight shooter. She gives constructive criticism directly. Number 8, a big shot. Do you know this one? This is a person of great importance or influence in a particular field or organization. Now, you might say to your friend or colleague, don't be intimidated by him because he's a big shot. So you might think that someone who is a big shot isn't a people person, isn't approachable, but don't be intimidated.
Oh, Ken Park's such a big shot.
Or you can say, Evelyn's been acting like a big shot since she got promoted. In this case, it sounds negative. So it sounds like she's acting like she's more important than everyone else because she got promoted. So notice that verb in this case, acting like a big shot. Number 9, set in one's ways. This is someone who is resistant to change and prefers things to remain the same. Does that describe you? My grandmother is set in her ways. So notice it needs to be possessive to the person. And here's an example of how she's set in her ways. She still refuses to use a smartphone. Or he's so set in his ways, and don't forget that S, it's always S on ways, that he instantly dismisses any new ideas. So if he dismisses them, it means he doesn't consider them. He just says no. Number 10, a worrywart. Hopefully this doesn't describe you. This is someone who worries excessively, so a lot, about things often unnecessarily. So you might say, don't tell Sarah that the client didn't like the presentation. She's such a worrywart. So she'll worry about it tonight, tomorrow, a month from now, even though it's not a big deal.
Oh, Herbert, you're such a worrywart.
Or you might tell your friend, your sister, your husband, don't be a worrywart. The project isn't due for weeks, so they're staying up at night worried because they're a worrywart. Number 11, a cheapskate. A cheapskate. Have you heard this one? This is someone who is unwilling to spend money or is very frugal. This has a negative sound to it. For example, Tim brings his own popcorn to the movies. He's a cheapskate. Or don't be a cheapskate. So again, that imperative in the negative. Don't be a cheapskate. The more expensive one will last longer. Number 12, a cold fish. This is the opposite of a people person and the opposite of a social butterfly. This is someone who is emotionally distant or unfriendly. Dan may seem like a cold fish, but I think he's just shy.
He's a cold fish.
Or he can be a cold fish sometimes, especially in large groups. Number 13, a backseat driver. Maybe you've been a backseat driver or you've experienced this. This is someone who gives unwanted advice or tries to control a situation. So you can say, stop being a backseat driver, you're making me nervous.
Nobody likes the backseat driver, Klaus.
Now this is very commonly used when someone is actually driving and then the person beside you or in the back seat says, turn left, change lanes, go here, don't drive so fast. That's being a backseat driver. But you can also use this in a non-driving context. For example, stop being a backseat driver and let me handle the presentation my way. So this is someone who's trying to tell you, change this, do this, add this, but you don't want their advice. Number 14, a busybody. This is someone who is overly interested in other people's personal or private matters. You could say, I wish my neighbor would stop being such a busybody. So if you have a fence that divides your property, maybe your neighbor is always trying to look over your fence. That's a busybody. Or you can say, if you keep acting like a busybody, nobody will want to work with you. Number 15, a wet blanket. Hopefully this doesn't describe you. This is someone who dampens the mood or kills the fun. For example, it's only 9 p.m. and you want to go home? Don't be such a wet blanket. So you're having fun at the party, but your friend, your cousin, your spouse says, oh, I'm tired, let's go. So they're dampening the mood, they're killing the fun.
I'm a wet blanket.
You can say, I don't want to be a wet blanket, but we need to discuss why our sales are down. So having a negative discussion can dampen the mood, but sometimes you need to have those tough conversations. Number 16, a loose cannon. You don't want this person on your team. This is someone who is unpredictable and can cause trouble unintentionally. You can say he's a bit of a loose cannon. So a bit of is reducing it. It's making it less intense. We never know what he'll do next. So he's unpredictable, but his actions can have negative consequences. Or you can say a few members of the team are loose cannons. So here, notice because I have a few members, that's plural, so I need to add my S to the noun, loose cannons. They never follow protocols, which are the instructions. Number 17, do you know this one? A bull in a china shop. This probably describes me. This is someone who is very clumsy or careless, especially in delicate situations. Now, in this case, china refers to delicate porcelain or ceramics, not the country. You could say, don't ask Sarah to help you move. She's like a bull in a china shop. So notice here, I'm using to be like a and then the idiom, which means she's careless. She might break your items as she's helping you move. That probably describes me. Or you can say, I never go into antique shops. I'm like a bull in a china shop. So I might accidentally knock something over that's very valuable. Again, that describes me. Number 18, a dark horse. This is someone or something that is not well known, but has the potential to surprise or succeed.
Talk about a dark horse.
This is often used in competitions, political, sports. He was a dark horse in the competition, but in the end, he won first place. So he was not well known, but then he won. Or you can say she's a dark horse. No one expected her to be promoted so quickly. Number 19, a lone wolf. This is someone who prefers to work alone and doesn't like being part of a group. Here's that structure with as. As a lone wolf, he prefers handling projects on his own.
I'm a lone wolf.
Or you can say the lone wolf approach doesn't work in our company. We value teamwork and collaboration. Number 20, a know-it-all. Oh, you don't want to be this. This is someone who behaves as though they know everything and refuses to listen to others. So again, because this is a negative, you could use the imperative in the negative. Don't. Don't act like. You could say don't be, or you can use to act like. Don't act like a know-it-all. You need to listen to other ideas before making a decision. Or you can say, I don't want to seem like a know-it-all, but I have experience with this issue. 21, a creature of habit. You probably know this one, so let's make sure you feel comfortable using it. This is someone who prefers routines and does things in the same way all the time. This definitely describes me. Amelia is a creature of habit, so she won't like these new changes. In this case, that sounds more negative, that the person isn't open to change. So in that case, it doesn't describe me, but this next one does. As a creature of habit, I've been eating the same breakfast for over 10 years. This is true. Ask my husband. He is sick of oatmeal every day, but that's what we have. Number 22, a breath of fresh air. This is someone or something that is new, refreshing, and brings positive change. You can say working with Emily has been a breath of fresh air. So she brings new ideas to every meeting. She brings a new perspective, new energy, new personality. She's a breath of fresh air, and this is positive. You can say after the long meeting, the interactive presentation, so something was a breath of fresh air and lifted everyone's spirits. So it was a welcome change. 23, a stickler. I like this one. Now you can say a stickler for the rules. That's the full idiom, but most natives, we drop the for the rules and just say stickler. This is someone who insists on following rules strictly and doesn't like bending them. So bending them means changing them slightly if the consequence doesn't seem extreme. For example, Greg is such a stickler, he won't even let us leave 5 minutes early. So in this case, although the shift ends at 5, does it really matter if people leave at 4:55 on a Friday? So you bend the rules. You let people leave 5 minutes early, but Greg will not because he's a stickler. Or you could say, I'm a manager now, so I need to be a stickler. I need to enforce the rules. It's my job. Number 24, this is for all the parents, a class clown. This is a person, usually a child, who is always joking or causing trouble in a funny way. But we generally use this with kids in school. For example, my son was a complete class clown. So complete intensifies it, a complete class clown. But now he's a big shot on Wall Street. Or you can say often kids act like class clowns because they're bored or unengaged. And idiom 25, a tough nut to crack. This is someone or something that is difficult to understand or deal with. You can say Tim is a tough nut to crack. It's hard to get him to open up. So to open up, that means to be honest about how he's feeling or the real details of his life. To open up. Or you can say the team has been trying to solve this issue for weeks. The issue is a tough nut to crack. So it's difficult to solve or understand. Let's keep going and do something more advanced. You'll learn vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation naturally as I show you around my home and my favorite spots in my neighborhood. Let's start with prepositions. Right now, I'm on the bed, but now I'm in the bed. So notice we use in when you're under the covers, under the blanket. So you can use covers for everything on your bed, or you can be specific and say blanket. So I'm in the bed because I'm under the covers. But I'm on the bed now because on is used for a vertical surface. So the bed is considered a vertical surface. Now I'm in the kitchen. So even though there are no physical walls, the kitchen is considered an enclosed space. It's its own room. So right now I'm in the kitchen, and right now I'm in the living room because it's its own defined space. But what about this? I'm the pillows. I'm between the pillows. And right now I'm at the front door. So the front door is not considered a defined room or space, and it's not enclosed. So we use at for a specific point. So this is the specific location. I'm at the front door. And how about now? I'm on the patio. So here, maybe just memorization. You're on a balcony or on a patio. And now I'm behind the door. And right now I'm under the desk, under the desk. And I can only be under the desk because this is called a standing desk. You can also call it a sit to stand desk. So right now I can stand and work, but you can lower it and then you can also sit and work. I'm walking my cat. I'm walking Sasha. Now notice how there's no preposition. It's not I'm walking with my cat, because when you walk an animal, you walk a cat or you walk a dog, more commonly, you're in charge of it. You're in control of it. It's also very common to say, I'm taking my cat, I'm taking my dog for a walk. So right now I'm walking Sasha or I'm taking Sasha for a walk. Right now I'm walking with my husband. Say bye, Kevin.
Bye, everybody.
So notice, of course, if you use the preposition with, it's because you're doing it together. It's collaborative, it's joint. I'm walking with my husband, with my friends, with my family. Now, when I made this short, a lot of native speakers commented and joked, oh, you're walking Kevin. Because remember, if you remove that preposition, it means I am in control. So a lot of native speakers joked and said, my wife always walks me, meaning my wife is in control, in charge of. My friend sent me a text message and said, what are you up to tonight? Do you know what that means? What are you up to? This is how a native speaker commonly asks someone, what are you doing? So up to in this expression means doing. What are you doing tonight? So just change doing to up to. What are you up to tonight? So now you'll sound just like a native speaker. And this is what I'm up to tonight, so not very much. So I could reply back to my friend and say, not much, not too much. Or I could be more specific and say, I'm relaxing at home, I'm chilling. That's a very casual, informal way of saying relaxing. I'm chilling at home. You can be more specific and say, I'm relaxing at home and watching a movie, or and watching Netflix, and reading a book, and listening to music, whatever you might be doing. And here's a very common phrasal verb you should know. I'm hanging out at home. So to hang out is the phrasal verb. We commonly use this with people. Do you want to hang out tonight? So that's another way of saying, do you want to spend time with me tonight? So I could say, I'm hanging out with my friend tonight. So you use the preposition with, person. So spending time socially. Now you can use it with a location like I did. I'm hanging out at home, which means I'm just spending time at home. So what are you up to tonight? Not too much. I'm just hanging out at home. I'm watching a movie and eating popcorn. What about you? What are you up to tonight?
I'm walking to the market to get groceries. So notice two things. You get groceries, so the verb is get. I need to get groceries. And notice how I said I'm walking. So that's the form of transportation. I'm walking to the market. If I said I'm going for a walk, so notice to go for a walk, that's just for leisure or for pleasure. So in the afternoon, I went, the past simple of the verb go, I went for a walk in the park. But I'm not going for a walk, I'm walking to get groceries. I made it to the market, but after walking for 20 minutes, mainly uphill, I'm really hot, I'm really sweaty, so I need to stop to have some water. So notice have water, you can use have instead of drink. I have water, I drink water, they're the same. Now notice I said stop, infinitive, stop to have some water. That means I start the action of drinking water. So I'm having water. I stop to have water. But I could say I stop walking. There's stop plus gerund, your verb plus ing. That means you stop that action. So I stop walking to start to have some water.
Here's everything I got at the market. So how about this? I'll hold the item and then you say it out loud to make sure you know the item and the pronunciation. These are, maybe they're not that common outside of North America at least. These are plantains, plantains. Of course, these are eggs, easy. This is a pineapple, one of my favorite things to get, a pineapple. These are beets, beets. It's the same pronunciation as the verb to beat, but the spelling is different, beets. This is garlic. I would view all of this as a collective, so I would just say garlic. This is garlic. I wouldn't say these are garlics. That doesn't sound correct. You could say bulb to represent one, so you could say these are bulbs of garlic, but that's not very common. You would just say this is garlic. So this is a bulb of garlic, and then a piece, we call this a clove, a clove. These are onions. Notice that pronunciation, onion, onion, onions. This is a cucumber. This is a pepper. These are avocados, avocados. This is, of course, lettuce, lettuce. Notice that unstressed pronunciation, lettuce, lettuce. But what if I wanted to make this singular? I wouldn't say a lettuce. This is a lettuce. You can't say that, but if you want to make this singular, you would say a head of lettuce. So I need a head of lettuce. Otherwise, you just say I need lettuce. And we got a big bag of strawberries. And I also got a bag of tomatoes. Now you can call these smaller ones cherry tomatoes or just tomatoes. And Kevin got this. Do you know what this is? Any idea? It's hot sauce. Hot sauce. I have no idea what's in it, but it's very spicy. Let me share some word tasks that I do every day. Now notice, I said every day. So what verb tense will we use? The present simple. Every day, I could also use any of the other adverbs of frequency, always, sometimes, usually, rarely, never. Every day is an exception because that comes at the very beginning or end. Every day I check my email. Now, if you use the other adverbs of frequency, you could say, I always check my email at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day. And to check your email, to check means to look at, to review, to check your email. So you can check your messages, you can check anything, that you can check the status of something. So I provide feedback. So notice provide feedback. Feedback is the noun. I provide feedback to my students in the Finally Fluent Academy. I prepare lessons for all of you on YouTube. Now, I could also say I make lessons because I create the lessons. But sometimes my students say I make lessons or I make homework. But that's the wrong collocation. That's the wrong verb. Because for you, if you are completing it, you are doing it. You want the verb do. But because I create the homework, I can say I make the homework. You do the homework, I make the homework. You do the lessons, I make the lessons. Here's an important verb I hear a lot of mistakes with: to follow up with someone. So every day I follow up with my staff, for example. Now, if you follow up with someone, it means you continue a conversation you previously had. So if I ask someone on my team to create something, the next day I can follow up with them and ask them for the status of that. So if you ask me a question and I don't reply, you can follow up with me and send me another message because you're continuing the conversation. Well, I have to get back to work now. Let's talk about cooking. I'm going to make pasta sauce. But first, I don't want to get my shirt dirty, so I need to put on, what's this? An apron. And notice that phrasal verb. I put on the apron, and then the opposite, I take off the apron. Now that I'm wearing the apron, I can cut up the onion. So first, I peel the onion. So to remove the skin, you peel the onion. Now you can slice, which is like this, slice. And then chop is just larger pieces, so to chop. But then to dice would be to take these pieces and then make them very small. So right now I'm dicing the onion. I'm cutting it into very small pieces. So you need to knead the dough. Do you know that verb, to knead the dough? Now, some things are just difficult to explain verbally. You just have to see it. So right now, I'm kneading the dough. And notice I said you need to knead the dough because I wanted you to hear that the pronunciation is exactly the same. There's a silent K on the verb to knead, just like night, a night, silent K, knit, silent K, know, to know, sounds exactly the same as know. And of course, silent K on this, knife. Can you think of any others? Share one more silent K in the comments. As my onions are browning, let's do a little pop quiz. How many do you know? Let's start with this. What's this called? A spoon. What's this? A garlic press. What are these? Measuring spoons. And these? Measuring cups. These are oven mitts. This is a can opener. And this? A ladle. How about this? A spatula. A lot of native speakers just call it a flipper, but it's a spatula. These are tongs. I'll need this after the pasta cooks. It's a colander, but most native speakers call it a strainer. And I'll need this at the end, a cheese grater, just a grater. And this is a cutting board. How many did you get right? Share it in the comments. Look at this beautiful pasta. I hope my Italian students are proud. And my water is boiling. The sauce is simmering, which means cooking at a low temperature, simmering. I want to show you this beautiful loaf of bread. Notice you can't say a bread because you can't make bread singular, a bread. So if you want to specify one, you say a loaf of bread. And this is brioche. Now Kevin and I, my husband and I, we picked it up. Now to pick something up in this case means to get from a store. So, oh, I need to pick up milk. I'm out of milk, I have no milk, I need to pick up milk. So we picked up this beautiful loaf of brioche bread to go with our pasta. I am a very messy cook, so let's talk about clean, clean up, wipe, wipe up. If I say I need to clean the kitchen, that sounds more in general. So it could mean washing the dishes, cleaning the floor, cleaning the counters. So it just means in total. But clean up is a specific area. So I would say, oh, I need to clean up. It's the specific mess I made, not the total kitchen. Now, same for wipe. If you wipe the counters, it's just the entire thing. But if you wipe up a specific mess or spill. So right now, I'm wiping up the pasta sauce. And I need to clean up before I eat my delicious pasta. And the final product, doesn't it look delicious? Now you can just say, have a good meal or enjoy. And native speakers often borrow the French bon appetit. And I am going to enjoy this. Remember the brioche bread from pasta last night? Well, now I'm using the leftovers to make French toast. So notice I said the leftovers, that's a noun. The leftovers means the remaining food item, the leftovers. I could also say I'm using the leftover bread, and now leftover is an adjective. I forgot this in our quiz. What's this? A whisk, a whisk. And the verb is to whisk. So for my French toast, I have eggs, milk, cinnamon, a little sugar and salt, and my secret ingredient, maple syrup, a little bit of maple syrup. So I could say I'm going to whisk the ingredients using the verb whisk. You could also just say mix the ingredients. Now, native speakers often add the phrasal verb up to certain verbs. So I could say I'm going to mix up the ingredients. So mix and mix up here, they mean the same thing. It means combine together, just like I'm doing now. But you don't want to mix up the sugar and the salt. So here, mix up also has a different meaning. It means to use the wrong one. So if you mix up the sugar and salt, it means you use salt when you wanted sugar, or the other way around. So don't mix up the sugar and salt. What was this? Remember? A spatula. But what did I say native speakers commonly call this? A flipper. Because now it's time to flip the French toast. So this is the verb to flip, to go from one side to the other, to turn over, but we would say to flip, so I'll do that now. To flip. And that's why we commonly call this a flipper, but remember, it's a spatula. And look at this beautiful French toast. There's only one thing left to do, the secret ingredient, the maple syrup. So I'm going to pour the maple syrup. Now, if you use a noun, you use the preposition on. So right now I'm pouring the maple syrup, but I could also say I'm pouring the maple syrup on the French toast. I'm pouring it on the French toast. And now it's ready to eat. So now I'm getting ready. So to get ready is the general term we use for everything you need to do. So it would involve showering, brushing your teeth, putting on makeup, which I'm doing now, getting dressed, all of those things together, you can say get ready. So I'm getting ready. So I'm putting on makeup. So that's the phrasal verb, to put on makeup. You can also use apply makeup, but that sounds more technical. Maybe you would hear it in instructions. Now, right now I'm putting on face cream. So again, I could say apply, but that sounds a little more technical. If this were a medical cream, a doctor would say apply it 3 times a day. But in everyday use, you put on makeup, you put on cream. And after, I'll blow dry and then style my hair. And then my final step of getting ready is I'll pick out what I'm going to wear. So pick out means to select. So, should I wear this shirt or this shirt? So to pick out. I picked this dress out, so now I need to get dressed, so get out of here. So I'm going out for a bit. Notice that, I'm going out. That's what a native speaker would use to say, I'm leaving the house. It can be for any purpose. It can be to run an errand. Notice you run an errand. To run an errand, to get groceries, to go to work, or for social, which I'm doing, to go to a cafe. So you can say, I'm going out. I'm leaving the house. Now, native speakers, we love using the verb head as a replacement to go, but only in specific situations. So you can learn this phrase, I'm heading out. I'm heading out, which means I'm going out. So I'm heading out. Now you can also say I'm heading to and then a location. Just like you would say I'm going to a cafe, I'm going to the store, I'm going to the movies. You can say I'm heading to the movies, to the store. I'm heading to the cafe. So what's the final thing you need to do when you leave your house, when you go out, when you head out? You need to lock the door. So you can say, I'm locking the door. You can also use the phrasal verb lock up. I'm locking up. I just locked up in the past simple. I just locked up. Don't forget to lock up before you head out.
So on the way to the cafe, I just need to stop by the bank, the ATM. Notice I said I need to stop by. So that phrasal verb, to stop by, you could also use to swing by interchangeably. To stop by, to swing by, that means to go to a place quickly and on your way to another location. So on your way to the final destination, you go to a different place. So maybe on your way home from work, you stop by the store to pick up milk. So I need to take out money. Take out is the phrasal verb that you use to get money. I need to take out money from the ATM. I need to get money.
I made it to the cafe and I ordered my cappuccino. Now, when I ordered this, what do you think I said? I said, I'll get a, I'll get a, I will get a, I'll get a cappuccino. If I wanted to sound a little more polite, I might say, can I get a cappuccino? I could also say, I'll have a, or I'll take a. I'll get a, I'll have a, or I'll take a cappuccino. Now, right now, I'm in a cafe because this is an enclosed space. And right now, I'm
at a cafe. I cannot say in because I am not inside. I'm not enclosed in the space, so you cannot say in. I'm at a cafe. It's the precise point on the map. Now this is the patio for the cafe. So what's that preposition? I'm on the patio, or I could say I'm at the cafe. And now I'm in the cafe. I could also say I'm at the cafe to refer to a precise location, but because I'm physically enclosed, you can also use that preposition in. So now I'm going to enjoy my delicious cappuccino in the cafe.